Alright guys, Cammy here, and I hope you're doing well and enjoying your day so far. Major updates in the CDL last night. One of the legacy brands that's been around in the Call of Duty League since its inception, officially rebranding as of last night. Rokkr are gone, G2 are in. The way that they did this rebrand has caused a fair bit of controversy. Their roster is of course also yet to be officially determined. Some rumours from Zuma that more Rostermania stuff is yet to come. Shotzzy with a couple of follow-ups on the new controller he's been running over the last few months. Very much enjoyed your thoughts in the comments. Hit the like button if you enjoy. Subscribe if you're new as always. Congrats to Hex as well for getting back to 1 million. It often happens when you get to a milestone on YouTube. It may just have been the case that YouTube did a purge of a load of inactive bot accounts. It does happen from time to time. But I used to find that like when you hit big milestones, that's when YouTube would look at your channel and be like, okay, let's do a little bit of culling here of some of the subscribers that aren't real. So, you know, it can happen. Hex got to 1 million. It dropped down below 1 million. Now he's back there again. So thought that was nice to see. This is also nice to see here from Dashy. Happy birthday to the GOAT Illy, he says. There's a nice little picture they've got of them on the wall here from a couple of years back when they won together with OpTic Texas. Thought that was nice to see. Whether Illy can get back into the league this year, good question. Of course, he gave it a go last year for some time. Then it looked like he was going to call it a day and retire from competitive cards. Now it looks like he's going to be back in force here for Black Ops 7, a game that could suit him rather well. We'll see how he gets on in challenges, because I don't imagine he's in any of the conversations with the Ravens, believing that that is the final team to still lock in their roster. But as we'll see in a second, there could still be some other things still happening in this Rostermania period. Jake Hale again talks about BO7. So quite a lot of tweets were coming out over the last 24 hours or so about whether Black Ops 7 might get released early. That's what he says. If the rumors of BO7 being released early are true, this is the best year ever. Now, Ghost of Hope says it might come out a week early. He's putting the chances at about 20%. So currently the release date is the 14th of November. There is talk that because of Battlefield and because the game is ready anyway, they could bring it forward to the 7th possibly. Ghost of Hope reckons there's a 20% chance that happens. Maybe they do the campaign a week early and then they release multiplayer as planned. Dunno. Good question. Intrigued to your thoughts in the comments. Another major update yesterday is what's going on with the calendar for next season in terms of where the majors are going to be. We usually get confirmation around about this time of the year officially from the league. It tends to be late October, maybe early November, when the game, around about when the game is going to launch. But as it stands, we have no idea. We have some rumors as to where the events are going to be. The initial rumor was linking Major 1 to Toronto, right? The feeling was that we were going to go back to the Matam Athletic Center where we did the events over the last couple of years. Now, of course, it would be cold doing that event in January, but I was actually really looking forward to getting back there, right? But apparently that's no longer happening, which I think is kind of unfortunate. But if you live in Dallas, then here we go again. And it looks like OpTic are at least coming to the rescue, because there have been lots of rumors about what's going on with next year's schedule. The initial rumor was Major 1 Toronto end of January, Major 2 Birmingham, not Alabama, Birmingham UK at the NEC where it was held in 2018 as well. That was Major 2 end of March, we think, alongside the DreamHack Birmingham events. Of course, it's part of the same event. Major 3, we didn't really know. There were a couple of rumors that maybe they could even be an Atlanta event, but many were expecting that that was probably going to be OpTic's event in Dallas, Major 3. You would think OpTic are going to get something, right? Then Major 4, rumored to be Paris potentially, run by the Gentlemates, but there have been some rumors that that might not actually be happening anymore. Then Champs, Las Vegas is the rumor, especially with FaZe moving there. So that's what the rumor was a couple of weeks ago. Now we're hearing that maybe it's not Toronto and instead it might be Dallas, which might be an OpTic thing. So look, I don't know. I'm hoping we get more events. It's clearly a bit of a mess, because if this was all locked in and it was all sunshine and rainbows, the CDL would probably have at least looked to say something by this point, but they haven't, which makes me think that it's not exactly smooth sailing getting these events organized for next season, which is a slight concern, because BO7 is probably going to be, whatever you think about it to play, it's going to be a good game, I think, to watch. And I don't want this year ruined by a poor CDL schedule, as it were, but I think there's a decent chance that there's a bit of a mess on that side that is yet to come. Now let's talk about Rostermania and some of these organizations, some of which are not looking to run events, as we well know. Now, Zuma said, Rostermania eyes emoji. Now, of course, if you think about all the rosters, some of them have not yet been confirmed. We're expecting that in due course. For example, the Gentlemates team that I just mentioned, are they rebranding to Paris? When are they going to confirm this Neptune Sib Ghosty Envoy thing? I don't know. But technically, the only team that's not yet had massive rumours is the Ravens. We think maybe Slasher and Craze looking for 2, but we have no idea what that could be. All the other teams, there have at least been some deep rumours about. So is Zuma arguing that Ravens have locked in their additional 2 players and now that's a team of 4? Because that doesn't really strike me as Rostermania, right? Like, that's just something we expect to happen. Rostermania at this point would imply that some of the things that we currently know may no longer be happening. So that's definitely an interesting one to watch out for if there are changes to some of these teams that have not yet been confirmed, maybe including the Minnesota Rokkr, or as they are now known, G2 Minnesota. So they come out with this video yesterday. Just to quickly mention before I forget, the rumored team is Estriel to stay, Crimp to join, Mamba and Skies as the quartet. Gwyn was linked there, but we think he's gone to the Surge instead. So that's apparently the roster. Now, having announced none of these guys, they don't have any of those players as part of their video, but they did this like announcement video, and I think this was like a football thing to do with like the Packers or whatever. I'm not so familiar with the rivalry and exactly what's going on there, but they do this video and they're like, allow us to reintroduce ourselves. Obviously, this is a troll video, right? Like, I don't really exactly know what they're trying to cook up here, but it was basically like a troll, right? So they come in, zoom into the map, and they zoom into Berlin. Now, the reason why this is interesting is because G2 as an organization, they are headquartered out of Berlin, Germany, right? Rather than Berlin, Wisconsin, and they do this like Packers level rebrand, G2 Berlin. So they come out with this. And then about an hour later, they're like, because people are reacting to it and they're like, what are we cooking? Some people thought this was real. I mean, it's clearly not real. It was obviously part of their program. I think Shorsted is funny. He went to do a thread, 1 out of 10. Now, of course, he did no thread. But I think it does make a fair point here that I don't think G2 are doing this intentionally, but the city rebranding, the geolocation and kind of troll that they eventually did is effectively a mockery of the current state of geolocation in the league, right? Because they are messing around with Berlin, Wisconsin, Berlin, Germany, Minnesota, obviously Minneapolis, because some of the teams are city-based, some of them are region-based. It's all an absolute mess, isn't it, really? And I don't think the G2 have done this deliberately, but I do actually agree with Shorstin's overall perception that this does make a mockery of why we still have city-based stuff in the league. So then they come up with their announcement. They say, we're not leaving. A few days later in Berlin, they've got this German guy, and then they confirm that actually they're rebranding from Minnesota Rokkr to G2 Minnesota, right? So this is the new branding. It's the same as it was. The logo's the same, but it's a bit different. Actually, in the first year, it used to have a little blue eye, and the logo was designed slightly differently. But Rokkr is dead. Rokkr is berries. That brand name is disappearing. We know that G2 came involved with the Rokkr team a couple of years back, but it was still Minnesota Rokkr, but it was kind of G2, and they brought in the red eye to kind of represent G2 on some sense. But now they've officially rebranded it, and it's just the G2 team. But again, it's weird, right? Because it's G2, but the branding is totally different to G2's normal branding. They've still got the old Rokkr logo, which is related to Minnesota because of the mythology and all that type of stuff that they played around with for a good few years. But I don't know, something just doesn't quite add up about this whole thing, right? G2 Minnesota. So yeah, it's no longer Rokkr anymore. It's now just G2. Where could they move? I mean, look, maybe they should have moved to Berlin, right? Because at least that's where their main organization is based. Of course, not in Wisconsin. I know that many fans who are local to Minnesota are like, damn, you know, because they did try. To be fair to Rokkr, the early years, they did try and engage the local fan base. They tried to run those like league matches that they would do on LAN locally. They would run watch parties and stuff to engage some of the local audiences. Even in neighboring states, I think at times they did. I think they did 1 or 2 things in Wisconsin as well. But now that's all gone and it's just G2, and it's pretty wild how these were the 12 teams that inaugurated the CDL. Atlanta FaZe are gone, they're now FaZe Vegas. Huntsman are gone, they're now Boston, technically. Dallas Empire are gone, that's now OpTic Texas. Florida Mutineers are gone, that's now Miami Heretics. Londonville Ravens are now Carolina and potentially will be gone to SSG in due course. LA Gorillas, they're now Gentlemates. Minnesota Rokkr are gone, that's the old logo by the way, as you can see. It's kind of the same, but you know, that's now G2. New York Huke subliners are now Cloud9, OGLA are now Los Angeles Thieves, Paris Legion are now the Riyadh Falcons, Vancouver Surge, you know, that's pretty much it, but even they've changed because it was Seattle, now it's Vancouver, and now Toronto Ultra, they may be staying, or it may be Toronto Koi, who knows. But the reality is, all of this city-based stuff, it's got to go at some point, surely, because there's no way that G2 actually want this either. Like, I mean, they've even renamed their Twitter to G2 CDL. They know that in the long term, it's not going to be Minnesota anymore, and that is going to be frustrating, I'm sure, to some of the local fans that enjoyed having that local team. But things just aren't the same as they used to be. This was a funny tweet though. All right, now, reveal your real one at FaZe Vegas, because people, of course, roasted their rebrand, so they tried to do a similar thing. I thought that was pretty funny. Also, a clip to share here before we close out the video from Shotzzy. They even, with the World Cup, did this post, one word legacy. Take a look at why OpTic remains one of the biggest names in COD Esports, and they look at all of their championships over the last several years. I thought this is pretty cool, actually, because the CDL will never do anything like this, because the CDL, while it does now start to recognize the existence of Call of Duty before the existence of the Call of Duty League in the CWL and even earlier eras, they, you know, it's not really so aligned with the goals. Whereas EWC, they just put together this graphic of all of the championships that OpTic have won, which I thought was actually pretty nice, including, of course, their results at the World Cup over the last couple of years. They made sure that they included those. But Shotzzy was talking about his controller, the PS5 versus the PS4. We talked about that a little bit yesterday. He actually followed up a little bit on that, talking about the bumpers. Thought I'd share this as well.
I think I changed like literally 2 weeks before an event, but I changed to like I changed bumpers. I never used to play bumpers in my life ever. Ever since I played COD and Halo, I've always shot with the trigger. And like, this is before Major 4. I got the PS5. I don't even know why. I think one day all I remember is Caesar, like, after scrims we tried college controller and like we were like, what the fuck? This shit actually feels good. I tried a PS5 back in MW3, I think, but I didn't like it. That shit was dog shit. It was so bad. Fucking hated it because of how big it was. But the trick is you play like bumpers, it feels insane.
So very much intrigued to your thoughts on all this stuff in the comment section below. Pretty funny clip to close out the video with as well. You guys know Fatty, who plays Charles with Zinni like from time to time. He got into a bit of an argument here with this Uber driver. Zuma gave his reaction. I'll share the clip to close out the video, right? So very much intrigued to your thoughts in the comments. Hit the like button if you enjoyed. Subscribe if you're new. Take care, and I'll see you next time.
I'm gonna record you. You just said I'm too large for your car?
This is a matter of logic and rationale, and I have a right to say
No,
that.
you don't.
Yeah, I do. It's my car.
This is not your car. I'm not too large for your car. I'm gonna fit.
It's my vehicle.
Are you dead ass, you fucking bitch?
Go away.
Fuck you. Are you dead ass? You are insane.
On you? Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, you're a fucking whore.
Bro. Bro, what the fuck? Bro, Fatty, the lady is right, Fatty. Fatty, she's allowed to say that you're not allowed in the car, Fatty. She's allowed to say that. You know what I'm saying? She is. She is. You know what I'm saying? She is. She's allowed to say that. You know what I mean? You didn't have to cook her like that unless it was staged. Wait, somebody said it's staged. Is this staged? No, there's no way this is staged, bro. Yeah, I also don't condone that word, Fatty. Fatty, I don't condone that word. You know what I'm saying? Come on, bro. You can't be using words like that. You know what I'm saying? I would never. Hey, Skeeps, see you with a resub, Skeeps. Appreciate you.